Let's now get the latest with legal analyst Mr. Melusi Xulu. Melusi, it's always a great pleasure having you with us on the show, sir. So we were in fact finally moving forward on this matter, we presume, but alas, we are still stalling again, this time due to the legal counsel for Bester removing himself from representing him. But is there a valid reason to further postpone this matter, especially in light of the current events via the Commission? Is there no way this case can actually proceed while Bester seeks alternative legal representation?
Good afternoon to you, Alicia, and to the viewers at home. Thank you for having me again. There is a reasonable reason, inverted commas, because, you know, a matter can't start if an accused doesn't have his attorney, or maybe he has not properly had an agreement from a financial perspective with the attorney or the advocate in this case. So I think the reason why maybe, or maybe the other reason besides the financial reason is the strategy. You might not agree on the strategy with your attorney or advocate, then you might want to change the advocate or the attorney. So this is the possible reason. So unfortunately, it will keep changing, but the court will at a certain point, Alicia, say to the accused that, you know, he keeps on changing and is abusing the court process. And so there are those instances where one will keep on changing attorneys and advocates. I'm not saying this is the situation here, but for example, if you keep changing your advocate for the fifth or fourth time before the trial even begins, that will be an abuse of process and delaying the matter in an unbecoming way. But hopefully this is the final time that is changing the advocate, and probably they'll then come on the 5th of December and finally have a pre-trial, depending, of course, on the Makudumana case, which is in the Constitutional Court, Dr. Makudumana.
And speaking of that process, Melusi, I mean, this frustrating process and back and forth, how does it then jeopardize the case? I mean, South Africans are waiting directives on such high-level matters. We cannot simply afford another 10 to 15-year delay of justice in this matter of such high public interest as well.
Yes, it does obviously frustrate the victims or the family of the deceased. And people who are concerned with justice, obviously, as a country. But also, there must be a balance. The accused must have the proper defense that they want to have, because according to Section 35 of the Constitution, it's their right to have proper legal representation. But hopefully, there won't be much delay on that. Then come the 5th of December, the matter will be finally postponed for a long date, or a date where there'll be many days where the trial can be heard, which will be next year. Obviously, it will not be heard this year.
So, Melusi, you think it's plainly on the constitutional legal processes that we are actually seeing this back and forth? Because I was thinking maybe what are some of your legal expectations then in regards to the proceedings? Thabo Bester himself had complained about the delays in this case. And what do you think is still outstanding, specifically on the side of the state, that actually forces the slow pace of action in speedy resolutions? Throw in the name of Bester now being thrown around at the Madlanga Commission. You've got a totally different aspect and drive to this story.
Yeah, I think if I'll comment first on the commission, Alicia, or the hearing that is happening, I don't think it has an effect on the case currently. Obviously, for the purposes of the commission, there will be an interest, but it doesn't have an effect because the state has, in fact, investigated the case. They are ready. I think it's always an issue of legal representations. For instance, I think Dr. Makudumana's father also has changed his attorneys as well, or the advocate. So the issue now is the accused must get their ducks in a row. They must get the legal representative that they are happy with. And if they can't afford, inverted commas, the expensive advocates, they can then always go to legal aid and say, we don't have funds, we don't qualify to be able to have advocates that can be paid by us, so we need legal aid. I think that will be even faster, because with legal aid, of course, they can assist them without them paying. So I think the main issue now is one, the changing of the teams for legal representations, And the second issue is Dr. Mokotmana's case, as is in the Constitutional Court, where she's saying she was extradited in a way that is unconstitutional. Once those two issues are solved, I do believe that we will be able to get a court date. But I think I've said this last year. I do not see it being a date that is close. I think on the 5th of December, there will be another delay. You can call me again on the 5th and I will confirm that. But I'm just guessing because we are seeing the way the matter is going and it's not going anywhere the way one would think it will go. But I do think on the 5th of December, the issues might be still hanging and maybe we'll be able to do a pre-trial maybe in February or March of next year.
Wow, you're concerning me even more, Melusi. Just a quick one. Can't these matters, I mean, the issue of changing, of course, your legal counsel, because I remember, Melusi, the last time Thabo Bester had appeared in court, he had, mentioned a slew of issues that he had taken issue with, from the fact that he wasn't being granted enough time to actually talk to his legal representative, among a slew of other issues. But can't these then be ironed outside or behind the scenes, outside of the normal judicial process, so as to save time?
You know, in some cases that I do with the NPA, and if there are many co-accused, what we usually do, I want to answer you indirectly. What we usually do is we have a WhatsApp group where we discuss all the issues before we go to court. So that when we come to court, all the issues have been ironed out, the dates that we want to postpone to, or the reason for postponement, and whether we'll continue with the case. I've said this before in one of the interviews. I've said, I think the legal team, or teams rather, and the prosecution team must be able to have a discussion before they come to court, because always when they come to court, there are things that are raised that might have been able to be solved before they come to court. But sometimes you do find a position where you discuss issues before court and you don't agree. That is where the court comes in.
Melusi, as always, thank you so much for your expert analysis there. Mr. Melusi Xulu is a legal analyst there on Thabo Bester's case, now being postponed to the 5th of December.